Welcome to the Block Exploring podcast, your first step into the world of crypto and blockchain. The Block Exploring podcast is your one-stop place to find quick, clear, and unbiased information on everything in the crypto space. Our goal is to help you grow familiar with the crypto space by growing along with us as we go on our crypto journeys. Follow @Block Exploring on Twitter for our newest uploads and our publishing schedule. We, here at Block Exploring, are crypto enthusiasts working hard towards becoming experts. Today's podcast is presented by co-hosts Tommy and Elias. Find us on Twitter under @SabaiSquared and @OtokoCrypto. Right now you can find us on Spotify and YouTube. Before we start the episode, we would like to inform you that we are not financial advisors. Therefore, nothing said in this podcast should be considered financial advice. Always contact your financial advisor before making any investment. With that said, sit back and enjoy today's podcast. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 26 of the Block Exploring podcast. Here with me is Tommy, as usual. We're going to be talking to you about everything that is happening in the blockchain space and what is to come. And there's a lot to come this week, and also a lot happened this week. In terms of overall kind of news. I think we've seen a very bullish week for crypto in general.
Yeah, a lot of nice price action for Bitcoin, ETH at least, and like a lot of other altcoins.
No, absolutely. I think, yeah, especially for what I've noticed is for Bitcoin, it's been going pretty crazy. A lot of people have been very skeptical, right, about like very, very bearish for a while. And I think this is now like that proof of the pudding.
Yeah.
I still see people that are bearish, but I also read a very nice article by on Cointelegraph saying that it was like the ultimate bear trap, 50K Bitcoin price. Yeah, because was the resistance where all the bears were kind of waiting for.
Sure.
So a beautiful tweet like, right now is the best time to sell Bitcoin if you want to buy back at a higher price.
Well, yeah, man. Like what I've been seeing is like a lot of the wild end of year Bitcoin price predictions have been whipped out.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the bears are doing their thing, but the bulls, yeah, they're also in full swing. With their long-term price predictions, 100K Bitcoin by the end of the year price predictions.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. That'll be kind of lit, but I'm not making predictions.
No, that's true. That does. I feel like making price predictions and stuff. Like, I don't know who it helps per se, right? Like I see it a lot on Twitter. Like these are my top 10 picks for quarter four, and you see like, I don't know, like ADA €6, which destroys the market cap basically. But
it should. I mean, price prediction should just be something that you have for yourself, right? Because you gotta know your positions and like what you're comfortable with, and like, yeah, your price predictions really should be relative to you, and like what you're comfortable with, and well, not necessarily, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, I feel like to answer your question, the price prediction is that you're making probably just helps you. Like, doesn't help anyone else necessarily, because like, what are they really just gonna trust? What you believe the price action is gonna be?
Yeah. No, that's true. You remember we had like this moment where everyone was like almost calling for another DeFi summer.
Mm-hmm.
And there were all these wild price predictions. And then like, I don't know, infrastructure bill dropped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
dude.
That entire summer was gone, right?
That was, when was that? Like May? I think May is when we saw that bull. It was like the bear market in the bull market. That was a rough time.
Yeah,
everything went quiet for a hot 3 weeks, but we were still out here though. I want to say, those weeks we were still out here making. But that was tough. But I feel like it picked up so quickly after that. I feel like if something like that happened a few years ago, that's a straight up bear market. Like that's a straight up bear market situation. But we've picked back up so quickly, and now we've been having, well, DeFi isn't like where a lot of people thought it would be, but ETH, Bitcoin, NFTs have been having a hot summer. They're having a even hotter October,
Yeah,
So bull market is strong. I feel like bull market is strong right now.
that's definitely true. Yeah, I think the project that's been, or like the token that I've seen somewhat under discussed compared to
Mhm.
Bitcoin is definitely ETH. Even though ETH has
Yeah,
been booming for the past while, I think that there is so much bullish activity going on around ETH right now
yeah.
that you just can't deny it. I think the main article that I've seen do the rounds, the main kind of like news discussion that I've seen on Twitter as well, has been like this fractal repeat of ETH.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not the biggest believer in, like, I don't know, the moment I hear Fibonacci and like I don't know, like what is it called, like
MCAD. Or,
RSI, relative strength index, and like I don't know, things like in other words, like bullish hammer occurrence, like these kinds of, like, I don't know, patterns that people see in the tea leaves of the charts, right?
Mhm.
They don't do much for me, but I think the fact that the news is out here and the fact that someone like an analyst feels like there is enough bullish sentiment in the market to post an article like this, and that it gets so many views and so many shares, kind of shows that ETH is kind of setting up for a breakout point, right?
Potentially, flip Bitcoin. That would be fantastic.
It would be
I mean,
fantastic.
I think a lot of people would like to see that, but what's crazy is that like ETH has that potential. ETH has that network effect.
Hmm.
Like, there's like been recent mini updates to EIP 1559, or is it 1159? Yeah,
Hmm.
getting us closer to proof of stake. And in general, that's super bullish because that effectively, pushes us forward closer to what Ethereum's mission is. And I
Yeah,
think as a whole, this direction Ethereum is going in makes it's just bullish because it just makes it more decentralized, more decentralized, more distributed. It takes
hmm,
us, it's right now a lot of ETH miners are just big groups or big like whales who like have the money and capacity to mine a lot of ETH. With it's not as distributed as it is like incredibly decentralized, incredibly distributed, right? But
yeah,
it's like how much can an individual person actually get in on this
yeah,
validating the network, right? And I think proof of stake allows more people to get involved in validating the network, which means more more security. And you might
yeah.
be saying like, okay, but you need 32 ETH to run your own validator node, right? And 32 ETH is a lot of money. But
Hmm.
there's so many services now where you can give in your ETH to a pool and like
Yeah,
earn a proportionate cut of I know Lido is like one of these
yeah,
services where you can give and Rocket Pool, you can put some ETH in a smart contract, and they that you they de- so you're basically delegating your ETH to them to run a validator node, and then you earn a proportional share of the transaction fees that they earn from validating the blockchain.
yeah,
So if you see it like that, it really does democratize Ethereum network even more. So I feel like that's hella bullish.
yeah, absolutely. And I think also the supply shock that most
Yeah.
likely is incoming for
Mhm.
ETH because of all these ETH burns that we've been experiencing.
Dude, just
And
Coinbase alone burns a lot, a lot of
yeah,
ETH. I wanted to give a number, but it's just a lot of ETH. And it's not just
yeah,
Coinbase. We have loads of decentralized. Coinbase isn't decentralized, but there are loads of decentralized applications that are burning a lot of ETH because they
hmm,
actually move that much volume.
yeah,
OpenSea is also not a decentralized application, but for NFTs they move a lot of volume,
mhm,
a lot of money, and they burn a lot of ETH as a result. So you know, disclaimer, like we're talking a lot about ETH and a lot of bullishness. Like we both are probably like I know I'm invested in ETH, but like it's hype. Like there's a lot happening
yeah,
for ETH. It's very exciting, and I think as a whole, it's really good for the whole crypto blockchain space in general. Because if one of the big dogs like ETH is like progressing and growing as like and really bringing people into the space, I think that only like helps other things that are going on, like other chains, like will probably get a lot of attention because people are coming into the space and researching like what
Mhm.
else is out there, for example. Or they might like, think about like, look at like what issues does ETH have, and then they look for other things, right?
Yeah,
Stuff like that, but it's
that's
interesting.
true. Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I also have some ETH, not much, because I use it mainly for paying for transaction fees on Ethereum. That's my main use of ETH right now.
Hmm.
But yeah, definitely. And I also see that if you look at the kind of like how many miners are holding ETH right now, right?
Hmm.
It hasn't been this much. Well, since 2016, basically, miners haven't held this much ETH.
Hmm.
So it's crazy because it really shows the amount of miners that are holding ETH is like a really good indicator of how far do the people that are actively kind of investing in ETH, right?
Yeah,
Investing as in investing money into keeping this thing running,
sure.
seeing the price action go up.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good indicator. Maybe for me, better. It's a bit more on a fundamental level, which I
Mhm.
prefer, than RSI curves and that kind of stuff.
Sure. I find that take interesting because you're saying that people are like the miners who are investing, yeah, electricity costs to proof of work mine this Ethereum. Them
Yeah,
holding that is a better indication than of all these, this TA,
yeah,
But so your take is that they find it more worth it to hold ETH, despite the cost that they're incurring. But
yeah,
I was thinking that them holding this ETH might be an indication that like miners want to hold ETH because later they're gonna need ETH to validate the network. They're gonna need
yeah.
ETH to stake the net. Like maybe it's probably both, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. I
But
think,
they're gonna
and
need 32 ETH, and most of them probably want to run multiple nodes if they can, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I also think like, right now if you mine ETH, most likely
Hmm.
your monthly electricity bill will be higher than the amount of ETH that you mine, in effect,
You think so?
right?
Well, I don't
Yeah,
know what
I
the
think
math is, but
at
yeah,
this point it kind
sure.
of exceeds the amount
Hmm.
facing the current price point, right?
Okay.
And if you're constantly making these costs, it's different putting money into ETH and seeing the price rise and being like, okay, I'm bullish on ETH,
Yeah.
versus actively kind of between air quotes making a loss on ETH every month
Yeah.
and saying, yeah, the price action validates this
Yeah. I
for
reckon.
me.
I reckon it also depends on like how efficiently your rig actually mines this ETH.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So no, I get what you're saying as well. But
Yeah.
I mean, the point is, miners are holding ETH, and it's a thing.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that, but that just the total
Hmm.
kind of this entire news package that we're seeing around ETH is like a perfect storm for it to
Exactly.
go all the way
Yeah.
up to the moon.
To the moon. Or maybe it might hit this 10K price point meme that everyone talks about.
Yeah.
10K ETH is this meme that's always being circulated, but could be a thing. Loads of
Yeah.
people think it's a 10K asset.
Yeah. No, it's true. I think it's a 10K asset. I
But
think
yes,
it
I
should be.
mean me too. But people who are listening, do your own research. We don't give financial advice.
No, that's true. We just give financial insight.
Ah, I like that, dude.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
No, exactly. But moving on from ETH, Tommy, you found modular blockchains in
So
this week.
yes, module. I find this a very interesting thought that's been percolating in the crypto blockchain space. So like at the moment we have fairly monolithic blockchains like Bitcoin blockchain, Ethereum blockchain. They all operate in their own kind of monolith, right? But they
Hmm.
all, each of these blockchains, however they're designed, they all come with a certain set of challenges,
Hmm.
for whatever reason, for many reasons, right? Because not the design of a blockchain can't be tailored to solve every problem, right? There's always going to be some challenge with these blockchains. But how do you then improve or build a more interconnected world in the crypto blockchain through crypto blockchain? Or how do you improve on these like the challenges faced by these monolithic blockchains? And I think what's an interesting thought that's been put forward is what's called modular blockchains, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if we take Ethereum and we think of Ethereum as the security layer, which is why, Ethereum is so popular, right? Because Ethereum is believed to be the most decentralized and most secure blockchain network, out there at the moment,
Yeah.
which is why so many decentralized applications are building on it and all these kinds of things, right? And but obviously the challenges that Ethereum faces, it includes, the amount of transactions that can be included in each block, the gas fees, like, because it's such a congested network, can get absorbed like really, really high. And how do you solve these issues is by creating modular solutions that connect to the security layer of this of Ethereum network. So for example, like if there's this gas issue fee, right, what kind of solutions are we seeing now? We see the percolation of layer 2 solutions like Arbitrum. We see layer 2 solutions like Polygon, which are
Mm-hmm.
different chains, right? But they're basically appended to the Ethereum blockchain for the security that they receive, right?
Yeah.
And that's probably what we're gonna see going forward, and like in terms of what chains are become most successful,
Yeah.
is like what chains can like more easily have solutions be appended to it to help
Mm-hmm.
them grow, like help the base layer grow and then help whatever is built on top of it grow, right?
Yeah.
It's probably these modular solutions, and this isn't just a Ethereum thing. Like I think moving forward we'll just see more blockchains
Mm-hmm.
have the ability for other solutions or other chains to be connected to it that solve inherent challenges that they have,
Yeah.
right? So there's this tweet which was saying, like these monolithic blockchains might grow only 10,000 times,
Mm-hmm.
in the next 20 years, but those that have adapt this modular blockchain mindset or approach will probably go like a million times in the same amount of time, right? So I think it's an interesting thought because like I think both of us are kind of on the same page
Yeah. Yeah.
in terms of like thinking that we need a more interoperable blockchain space, right? Because we can't, because
Definitely.
the internet's not a monolith, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and blockchain networks are very much like you know the internet with built-in money,
Yeah.
right? So I think that's what we're going to move and progress to see, because no one wants to just like have Yahoo Mail and only be able to send emails to other people with Yahoo Mail. Or,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what we're talking about, right? We want to be able to send mails to Hotmail, to Gmail, and that's,
Yeah.
that connection is what we need, right? And that's what's going to progress crypto blockchain in the future.
No, absolutely. And what you're saying here about like this interoperability and modular blockchains, it really reminds me of kind of the message that, well, one of my favorite projects out there, Cosmos,
Hmm.
Atom, is
Sure.
kind of putting out there, right? Like if you go to their website, or not their website actually, I think it's yeah, the website Blockchain Network. Really nice website when it
Yeah.
comes to kind of explaining cryptocurrencies and kind of their long-term vision, all that stuff. Shout out. Cosmos, right? They really explain like, hey, they have this kind of philosophy of what is blockchain 1.0, what is blockchain 2.0, and what is blockchain 3.0. And blockchain 3.0, well, it starts like this, right? Blockchain
Mhm.
1.0 is basically Bitcoin. If you have an issue with Bitcoin or the way it's being validated, you either fork or you build on top of it, right? Then Ethereum becomes popular 2014.
Yep.
You get the Ethereum virtual machine, you get applications, you get dApps. That's blockchain 2.0. You can build on it. You can kind of, you have some autonomy, but it still has its limitations like scalability, uh, and usability because of all these costs that you make, and a very low flexibility for developers. And I mean, you have the Ethereum virtual machine that's kind of a sandbox, but yeah,
Mhm.
there's still some stuff that can improve from it. And then you have sovereignty because all kind of layer 2 tokens are kind of second class citizens on the Ethereum
All right.
network. And if you look at the vision of Cosmos and the way Cosmos kind of goes about this discussion is saying we need an internet of blockchains to prevent this kind of second-class citizenship.
I don't know if I agree with this characterization, but it's probably
But
for another
it's
episode.
how I remember them
Yeah,
explaining it. You know, it's
yeah.
I what they kind of say is we need an internet of blockchains to prevent kind of second-class citizenship on the Ethereum mainnet, and we need to move past proof of work systems because, well, they're inefficient.
Mhm.
And I think that kind of fits in with this idea of the modular blockchain, right?
Yep. No, definitely. No, it definitely connects to it. And I think more projects are just going to adopt this approach, right? Because, I mean, what we see in traditional, like, for example, if we look at phones, right? Like, everyone wants to create their OS and everything needs to be, like, tailored to their OS and everything. It's like this ecosystems that, these companies are creating to just trap people in their own ecosystem. But
Yeah.
like, the principles that draw people to blockchain or that are inherent in blockchain technology just don't vibe with that kind of approach. And
Mm-hmm.
something like modular blockchain and the kind of ethos that is emitted by the idea of modular blockchain is something more in line with the principles and ideas of most people building in the crypto blockchain space. So yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that this issue kind of goes beyond just crypto, right? I think kind of to wrap up this episode, if you
Mhm.
look at, there's this meme going on, right? Android users, their camera quality always looks like Minecraft characters. Now, how does this relate to modular blockchains? Apps like Instagram, apps like, I don't know, WhatsApp, Telegram, whatever you use,
Mhm.
they do not facilitate the cameras of, for instance, Samsung and every other type of Android phone out there. There's only one program basically, and it's used to facilitate the cameras. But what happens through it is all kind of the camera qualities get compressed. They kind of use what your screen viewfinder gets, and Apple they facilitate well because it's just one script that they have to write for it. And
Right.
this makes it impossible for an app to be interoperable and to optimally function using an Android camera
Yep.
because it can't interact with it. And what happens then is that the memes flow out of people using Android having bad camera quality. That's this lack of interoperability, and that's where we will eventually go. Is a fully interoperable ecosystem for both blockchain, but also for, I think, on a larger scale for the tech sector.
Mhm.
So I think that's definitely, this is a huge issue. It's a very important issue. It's more of a 2050 issue than maybe a 2021 issue, but it is where the space is going.
Exactly. I mean, it all like it's just little steps. I think that
Yeah,
like we start here now, but that's ultimately like where we're gonna be, right?
absolutely.
That's a good
Yeah,
example.
exactly. Well, with that said, I think that was the end of this week's episode of the Block Exploring podcast.
Hmm.
Everyone, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the nice comments on our last episode. Really appreciate it. Shout out to you guys. And let us know what you want to hear next week on Twitter at Block Exploring. And we will see you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Peace.
Take it easy.